Welcome back, dear students. So now we shall discuss about the plant-water relationships in the chapter Transport in Plants. But what is the importance of water with respect to the plants? See, here we are speaking about the plant-water relationships. So what is the importance of water with respect to the plant? So how important is water to the plant? See, water, it is very essential for all the physiological activities of the plants, and it also plays a very important role in all the living organisms. And water, it provides the medium in which most of the substances they get dissolved. So you people know that this water is usually called as universal solvent because it has the capacity to dissolve most of the substances in that, and hence it is called as the universal solvent. And when we look into the cells, so these cells, it will be having a liquid matrix, fluid matrix called as protoplasm. So protoplasm inside the cell, it is nothing but made up of water only, in which different molecules will be dissolved in that. So in this, what happens? Different molecules are dissolved and several particles are also suspended in the water itself in case of protoplasm. And this protoplasm inside the cell is made up of 90-95% of water. So it is made up of 90-95% of water. And this water is very essential for all the physiological activities, and hence it is also called as fluid of life. So water, it is also called as fluid of life as it is having more important features, the most important characters. So when we look at the importance of water in the plant life, see, most of the biomolecules, they are dissolved in the water itself. And hence, water is called as universal solvent. And it is necessary for the cell to maintain the turgidity. What do you mean by turgid cells? See here, when the cell is having full of water, and it is swollen, and the protoplasm will be touching to the cell wall. So such kind of cell is called as turgid. And to give a best example for that, you have already seen some plants. So when you keep on watering, the plants will be healthy and straight, and the cells will be turgid there. That means the cells will be having water content, so that it will be somewhat swollen in nature. So swollen cells are called as turgid. They are swollen because of the presence of water. And when you look at the plants which are drying, that means when we do not water them in the summer, you might have seen the leaves will be wilted. They will be wilted. In such cases, what happens? Those cells inside those wilted leaves will not be having adequate amount of water. So when there is no adequate amount of water, what happens? The protoplasm, it actually detaches from the cell wall. So it should be attached to the cell wall like that, but in the wilted leaves, the cell cytoplasm inside that, as it is containing less water content, this protoplasm, it will detach from the cell wall, and they will be somewhat thin in nature. So such kind of cells are called as flaccid. So the water, it is very essential for the plants to maintain turgidity, and if the cells are turgid, these cells has the capacity to carry out their normal functions very effectively, because you know that most of the biomolecules are dissolvable. They will be dissolving in this water content. It provides the medium for that, and thus water is most essential, and thus the cells should always remain turgid, so that all the biochemical activities will be going on effectively inside those cells. And also it is essential for the entry of mineral ions from the soil into the root hair. See, this is the root, and here root hair will be present. So due to the presence of water only, what happens? There will be an efficient absorption of mineral ions by the root hairs takes place with the help of water. So it is also essential for the uptake of mineral ions from the soil into the root hairs. And also the protoplasm of the cell, it will be having water, as I told you. It will be having the different molecules which are dissolved and suspended in them. And also you might have observed the watermelon, which is made up of, which consists of 92% of water. And when you look at the seeds, dry seeds, say for example pea, those are dry in nature. Even though they are dry in nature, it will be having a very little amount of water, so that those seeds will remain alive and they will be respiring. If not, if 0% of water is present in the seeds, that means they cannot germinate at all. So even though after the seeds, even the seeds are dry in nature, they contains a very less much percentage of water, so that they will be alive, and when we soak them, they can germinate, so that their all vital activities will be restored because they are alive in nature. So even a dry seed will be having a little amount of water. And then one more thing is, I told you roots are the organs which are involved in the absorption of water. So the plants which absorbs the water, they will be absorbing the water. So among, say for example, let us consider that a plant is absorbing 100% of water, and in this 100% of water, not all the amount of water is utilized by the plant itself to maintain the turgidity. Just 1% of the water is utilized by the plants to maintain the turgidity of the cells, so that biochemical activities takes place. Whereas rest of the 99% of water, it will be lost from the leaves. It will be lost from the leaves in the form of water vapor, and that process is called as transpiration. So what do we call for that? That is called as the transpiration. So among the absorbed water, only 1% of the absorbed water is utilized by the plants to carry out their essential functions, whereas rest of the 99% of the absorbed water, it is eliminated out in the form of water vapor, and that process is called as transpiration. Okay, so now let us look at some of the words here. Some of the terms, we will be speaking about some of the terms like water potential. But what do you mean by water potential exactly? See, when we take up pure water in the sense, it should contain only H2O molecules, and other than H2O molecules, none of the molecules will be present. So no salts, no minerals, no ions, nothing will be present. Only pure water we are taking. So when we take up only the pure water, say for example, I have taken a beaker in which I have taken a pure water, and these are the water molecules, that is H2O. So these are the water molecules. Okay, so this is the pure water. So when we take up the pure water, these water molecules, each and every water molecule, it will be having a energy to do work. So each and every water molecule will be having energy to do work, which is called as free energy. What do we call for that? That is called as free energy. So it is also called as, it will also be having the kinetic energy. So those water molecules will be having free energy to do work. And when the number of water molecules are more, the free energy of these water molecules will also be more. And thus the potential or capacity to do work by the water molecules is called as water potential. So what do you mean by water potential? Water potential is nothing but the water molecules possess the kinetic energy. So the potential to do work by the water molecules is called as the water potential. And water potential is represented by a Greek symbol psi. It is represented by a Greek symbol psi. So we will write the symbol, and at the foot of that, if we write W, this indicates the water potential. So this indicates the water potential. So what do you mean by water potential? Water potential is nothing but the capacity of the free water molecules to do work is called as water potential. Okay, so it will be having the capacity to do work. And when we add some salt or sugar to this pure water, what happens? The sugar or salt, it dissolves. How do you think they dissolve? See, to make you understand that, you have already studied about that. Again, we are going through that so that you can recap. Okay, you can recall. So here again I have taken the pure water. To this I will be adding NaCl, that is table salt. So as soon as we add salt into the pure water, what happens? Inside the water, as soon as salt is dropped, now this salt, it breaks down into Na plus ions and Cl minus ions. So as soon as the solute is added, the free water molecules goes and binds to them like this. So now what happened? The free water molecules, they went and bound to the solute molecules. So now we call this as a solution. What do we call for this? We call it as a solution. Why solution? See, water is called as a solvent. Any substance added for that to dissolve is called as a solute. So solute plus solvent together is called as a solution. So as soon as we have added the solute like salt, it undergoes dissociation to form Na plus and Cl minus. So as soon as it dissociates, what happens? These water molecules, free water molecules, goes and surrounds these solute. As a result, inside the solution, what happens? The number of free water molecules reduces. So what happened in the solution? The number of free water molecules, what happened here? It reduces. So when we compare the number of free water molecules between the pure water and solution, where can we find the number of free water molecules more? It is found more in case of pure water than in solution. And this difference is called as water potential. So how do we define water potential? It is the difference between the free energy. It is the difference between the free energy of water molecules in pure water and free energy of water molecules present in a solution is called as water potential. And let us speak about one more term called as water concentration. Water concentration. Concentration is nothing but the number of water molecules available. So when we compare the concentration of water between pure water and solution, in pure water, the concentration of water molecules is more. That means all the water molecules are free. They are not bound with each other. All are free here. So the number of availability of free water molecules is more in pure water, whereas in solution the availability of free water molecules, it is less. And thus in pure water, water concentration is more, whereas in a solution water concentration is less. And thus when we place these two, so that is pure water and solution, besides each other, with a semi-permeable membrane, what happens? Water molecules always moves from the region of their higher concentration towards the region of their lower concentration. And the water potential is represented by the symbol psi W. It is represented by psi W, and pure water will always be having highest water potential, which is denoted as 0. So what is the water potential of pure water? It is always 0. Keep this in mind. It is always 0. So greater the concentration of water in a system, greater is its kinetic energy or water potential. And lesser the concentration of water in a system, lesser will be the kinetic energy or water potential. And when we place these two, that is pure water and solution side by side. So here I have taken the system A and this one is system B. In system A there is pure water and in system B there is a solution. Solution in the sense salt solution, assume. So when we look at the concentration here, system A has higher water concentration and system B has lower concentration, and thus water molecules always moves from the region of its higher concentration towards the region of its lower concentration, and this process is called as diffusion. You people know that it is called as a diffusion. So water molecules, it diffuses from the region of its higher concentration towards the region of its lower concentration. So we can say even like that also. And then the net movement of water molecules from the system with higher water potential to the one with lower water potential is taking place here. Okay. And water potential. So water potential is represented by Greek symbol psi, and it is expressed in pascals. So its pressure, it is expressed in pascals. We can write it as PA, or it is also measured by bars, or it is also measured by kilopascals, or it is also measured by megapascals, that is MA. So kPa, in the sense it represents nothing but kilopascals, and otherwise MPa, it represents the megapascals, and here it is also represented by bars. So what is the psi W of pure water? It is 0 bars. How do we represent that? It is represented as psi W is equal to 0 bars. And when we are speaking about the water potential, this water potential also has two different components, like solute potential and pressure potential. And solute potential is represented as psi S, whereas pressure potential is represented as psi P. What do you mean by solute potential? So as I told you earlier, see, when we add the solute to the pure water, the number of free water molecules availability, it decreases. So as we go on adding solute to the pure water, there will be a decrease in the concentration of water, and that is nothing but the solute potential. So what is solute potential? Solute potential is nothing but it is a magnitude by which the water potential is lower due to the presence of, it is the magnitude by which the water potential is lower due to the presence of solutes in a cell. So when we go on adding the solutes, what happens? The availability of free water molecules also goes on decreasing. Why? Because when more and more solutes are added, more and more free molecules of water will be surrounding around these solutes. Automatically the number of free water molecules, it decreases. So that is called as solute potential, and solute potential always has a negative value. Why it always has negative value? Because as we go on adding solute, the water potential goes on decreasing inside the solution, and thus this solute potential will be having the negative values. So it is always negative. So it is always having the negative values. And we shall also now discuss about one more component called as pressure potential. So now we shall speak about the pressure potential. So pressure potential, it is denoted by psi P. So pressure potential is nothing but the potential which is developed in a cell, the potential which is developed inside the cell due to the entry of water molecules or due to the exit of water molecules is called as pressure potential. See, when water enters inside the cell, then pressure exerts. So this entered water, it exhibits certain pressure, that is called as pressure potential. And even when the water is eliminated out, or when it is even existing out, so that time also it will be exerting certain pressure, which is called as the pressure potential. and thus the water potential is the sum total of solute potential as well as the pressure potential, and thus it is represented as psi W is equal to psi S plus psi P, and this pressure potential, this pressure potential will be having a positive value. It will be having a positive value, and to make you understand that, let us also recall the U-tube experiments now. Okay, so now we shall take a look at this U-tube experiment to make you understand about the water potentials as well as the pressure potential and solute potential. So here I have taken a glass, assume this as a glass U-tube which is U in shape, and it will be having two openings, and this opening is named as A and this opening is named as B, and these two tubes are separated by a semi-permeable membrane. See, what do you mean by semi-permeable membrane? Semi-permeable membrane in the sense, this membrane allows only certain molecules like water. Other than water, this membrane will not allow the passing of any solutes. So this membrane will not allow the passing of any solutes, but it allows only the passing of water molecules only, and thus it is called as semi-permeable membrane. So here they have taken a glass tube, U-tube, and this side is named as A and this is called as B, and both these sides, these tubes are separated by a semi-permeable membrane, and this membrane just allows the diffusion or passing of water molecules only. And in this, what I will do is, I will pour pure water. So now I am pouring the pure water. So now pure water, what it does, it will reach till here, and as I continue pouring, what happens, through the semi-permeable membrane, water diffuses, and then I will stop pouring. So once I stop pouring water here, I am taking pure water. Keep this in your mind. Okay, so I have taken pure water. Once I stop pouring the pure water, what happens, on these both sides, the water, it stands at the same level. And at this condition, psi W will be the 0. So what will be the pressure potential value of pure water, as we have taken pure water under normal conditions without any external pressure or temperature, at normal conditions in normal atmosphere? So psi W is 0 bars. You people know that. And when I add, so let us take this like that only, and let me take one more U-tube here. I will be taking one more U-tube here. So this is one more U-tube which is again separated by a semi-permeable membrane, and here I am taking A as well as B. And what I will do is, on this A side, I will take pure water. So what kind of water I am taking? Till here I am taking the pure water, and on this side, till the same level I will take the solution. In the sense, it will be having the solute molecules also. So along with water molecules, it also having solute molecules. But I told you, when a pure water and solution are placed side by side, which are separated by semi-permeable membrane, water molecules always diffuses along the gradient, concentration gradient. That is, now what happens is, pure water molecules, they diffuses from the region of its higher concentration towards the region of its lower concentration. As a result, water moves from A system towards the B. So as a result, what happens, as the pure water, it diffuses through the semi-permeable membrane from A side to B side, there will be an increase in the water level on B side, whereas on A side there will be the decrease in water level. So by this much level there is an increase in water on B side, and by this much level there will be a decrease in water level on A side, and thus it is nothing but the solute potential. So solute potential will always be having a negative values. It will always be having the negative values. Why negative values? So here as the solute molecules are added here, water potential it goes on decreasing, and thus psi s will always be having negative values. And now let us take a look at the pressure potential. So again for that I am taking one more U-tube here. So again I have taken one more U-tube. I'll draw that neatly. Okay. So one more U-tube. I'll label this as A and here as B. And again it is separated by a semi-permeable membrane. And on the both sides I'll be taking water. So on the both sides I'm taking water. So under normal atmospheric condition, this pure water will be at same level on either side, on A side as well as B side, under normal atmosphere pressure. But in case if I apply external pressure, external pressure on A side, say for example I'm taking a piston and applying an external pressure. So I am applying an external pressure. So when I apply an external pressure, what happens? So water on A side it decreases, which results in the increase in pure water on B side. So as the water is increasing, as the water potential is increasing on B side due to the applying of external pressure, it results in the rise in water, and thus pressure potential will be having positive values. Why it will be having positive values? Because when external pressure is applied, the kinetic energy of these molecules will also be increased. So when the kinetic energy of these molecules increases, they will be moving from A side towards B side, and thus it will be having a positive values. Why psi s has negative values? As I go on adding solutes, the solute to the pure water, the availability of free water molecules goes on decreasing. So when the availability of free water molecules goes on decreasing, free energy it also decreases. Whereas in case of pressure, when I go on adding external pressure, the kinetic energy of water molecules goes on increasing. As it is increasing here, it will be having positive values, whereas in solute potential, as the free energy or kinetic energy it is decreasing, it will be having a negative values. And thus water potential is the sum total of solute potential plus pressure potential, that is given as psi W is equal to psi S plus psi P. Let me speak about one more pressure here. See, I told you when I am speaking about the pressure potential, so with respect to the cell, when water enters inside the cell or it exits out of the cell, it exerts certain pressure which is called as pressure potential. In addition to that, see, when more and more water enters inside the cell it swells, right? So when more and more water it enters inside the cell, so when a cell is uptaking more and more water, it swells in size. So as a result, what happens? This absorbed water, it will be exerting certain pressure onto the cell wall. When more and more water is absorbed here, there will be a rush inside, and thus this absorbed water, this extra absorbed water, it will be exerting certain pressure onto the wall, and this is called as the turgor pressure. What do we call for that? It is called as the turgor pressure. And when this turgor pressure is applied, there is a cell wall present in the plant cells. As this turgor pressure is exerted, In response to that, the cell wall also exerts certain opposite and equal pressure against this turgor pressure, which is called as wall pressure. So what do you mean by that? See, when we place a cell inside the water, this cell, it absorbs water. When more and more water is absorbed, the cell, it becomes swollen in size. As a result, this absorbed water will be exerting certain pressure onto the cell wall, which is called as turgor pressure. So it is an outward pressure. In response to that, this cell wall also exerts an equal and opposite pressure, which is called as wall pressure. If wall pressure is not present, it is not exerted, the cell would have been ruptured due to the increased turgor pressure. So to neutralize that, in case of plant cells, wall pressure is also exerted. And thus, when we place a plant cell in the solution, so the cell will not burst, whereas if we place a animal cell inside the solution, the cell bursts. Why? Because it is involved in the uptake of water. As a result, increased uptake of water results in turgor pressure. But there is no cell wall present in the animal cells to exert equal and opposite pressure, that is wall pressure. And thus, when more turgor pressure is exerted, animal cell, it ruptures. Whereas in case of plant cells, luckily they have a cell wall, rigid cell wall. As a result, when more turgor pressure is exerted, equal and opposite wall pressure is also exerted, and thus the cell wall the plant cell, it will not rupture when it is placed in the solution for a prolonged period of time.